Fake updating malware from Russia affects 1,000 organizations this month. A review of the best free TV streaming apps. Elon Musk officially buys Twitter, and the FCC examines the frequency bands for the next wireless generation. All that and more next on the Computer Doctor Show.
You're listening to the Computer Doctor Show, your source for technology subjects affecting your business and personal life during this new normal. Your host is an award-winning office technician and IT specialist, author, tutor, ethical hacker, and recent winner on localbest.com as the best computer shop in Tucson. Broadcasting live, here's Aaron Moss.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Computer Doctor Show, your headquarters for updates, scam awareness, science, and cutting-edge technology talk. This is episode 111. I'm Aaron Moss, your host. Thanks for tuning in with us every Saturday at 2 p.m., and we post all of our shows and bonus content on ComputerDoctorShow.com. Again, ComputerDoctorShow.com. We love to hear from you, so give us a call during the show with your computer, internet, cybersecurity comments and questions on our open studio line, 520-790-2040. Co-hosting today is Rob from the Cassie Unscrewed Theater.
Good afternoon, Aaron. It's good to be here. And I'd also state that my views do not necessarily reflect those of the station either. They are my own, although possibly influenced by my cat, because I'm probably infected with toxoplasmosis by now.
Well, today's also Cat Day,
yes.
And criminals are out there stealing cats to commemorate the occasion. But you can always get your cat protected by going over to Mike at the team at Perfection Auto Works for all of your car's needs. Mike has found the dream team of expert professional auto technicians in Tucson, so they can get it right the first time. So don't waste your time or your money at suspicious shops. Take advantage of their free 26-point inspection at Perfection Auto Works. And for an appointment, call them at 520-323-8650. Again, 520-323-8650. By the way, I wanted to wish you a happy Cybersecurity Month for the month of October. And also, today is Internet Day.
Yay, Internet Day.
Internet Day, so I hope everybody's out on the Internet celebrating Internet Day. More detail about that later in the show. About
so if they're listening to us on the radio, they should close that down and listen
after
to
the
stream.
show. After the show, or while you're listening to the show on the radio, of course, please go out and get on the Internet today. And if you're listening to the show on the Internet already,
that's what I mean.
Please continue.
On the Internet. So.
Please continue. There we go. So here's what's happening in the world of technology news. So this fake updating malware from Russia that affected 1,000 organizations this month. Now, this is a little bit scary. We're going back to the ransomware deal again. So Microsoft Securities have noticed a new way that hackers are able to accelerate the ransomware process. It's not a new way for them to get into your computer, but it's a new way for them, after they've gained some access to the computer, it's a way to accelerate you through their ransomware process using a fake update tool called Raspberry Robin. Now, that sounds like a little bit of a cute little name, but they give them all these different types of names. So if you ever hear that in the news or in media, this is what Raspberry Robin is. It's an updating platform. It's a tool that real software companies use in order to update softwares that are already in computers. It does have a legitimate use, but of course hackers will always find an illegitimate use for tools that are out there. Have you ever heard of Rubber Ducky? The Rubber Ducky.
Don't know that one, except for some Sesame Street. I assume this is a different one.
You see, the last time I had somebody on here and I asked them what a Rubber Ducky was, we got the same Sesame Street response. So there is a thing called a Rubber Ducky USB. You can actually Google that, or Rubber Ducky hackable USB. Basically what it does is somebody will reprogram a innocent-looking USB stick, and then they'll just casually leave it in a location, hoping that somebody will see it, pick it up,
and plug it in.
To see what's on it. Because we are curious people. Curiosity killed the
cat.
Today's Cat Day. There you go. And here's one of the interesting things that happened with that. If it's a type of social engineering. So if you are somebody that has gotten on the nerves of a nearby hacker, or somebody is trying to hack you, something that they might do, they might take one of these Rubber Ducky USBs and place it someplace near your house or near your front door, hoping that you, the target, picks it up and plugs it into the computer. Once it's plugged in, it automatically uploads a file and executes a file, and then now you're on the way to furtherly getting hacked. And this new,
I assume they'd have both Mac and Windows versions on there so no matter where you plug it in, it'd get you.
well, hackers like the Windows. Hackers like hacking Windows more often than Apple. This is a large debate whether Apple is more secure than Windows. The reason why...
Or just less popular.
Correct. Right. There's way more Windows units out there than Apple, at least when it comes to laptops and desktops. So if you're going to be a hacker and you want to have more access to more machines in order to hack, you would choose the platform that's the most popular. Okay. In this case, it would be Windows. So it's just more targeted. It's not because it's better, in my opinion. It's different, but it's not more suggestive. Okay. Here is the review of the best free streaming services. Here is, so we were talking about this before the show. Right now, streaming services, I think the average American household, about 75% of American households have switched from cable TV now to streaming services. So now we have to get more about which streaming services are better than the others. So what free TV services have you found?
I've used Pluto and Tubi, I think, are the two I've used on a regular basis.
I vote Pluto TV as well, and I love watching it because it's great to have in the background. You can choose any TV show that you like, and it's like a marathon on that TV show. Okay, they just keep playing episode after episode after episode after episode, and it never stops. It just keeps on going as long as you stay on that channel. But it has commercials. That's what makes it free. And just about anything that you get for free on the internet is usually bombarded with all kinds of advertisements. So here is, here is the list that we found. This list can be found on CNET.com. Peacock. Peacock is it's NBC, the peacock emblem, So the NBC Peacock has a free version. Then there's the Roku channel. I believe that's only available on the Roku device.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't think I've seen the Roku channel on other devices.
Well, they have the Weird Al movie coming out, so I'll have to find out when that comes out soon, because I definitely want to see that on Roku. That's on the Roku channel.
That guy's still around. Weird Al. He's still doing weird things.
Yeah. Okay. I saw him. He was in Tucson in September. I saw him.
Oh boy.
I first saw him in the 1984 on this stupid tour.
Okay. That sounds weird, all right. There's also Pluto TV, Tubi TV. Then there's Freevee, Sling Free, Crackle TV, Plex, that's Plex, and Hoopla Digital. And those were the top 10 TV streaming services according to CNET.com. So if you haven't checked those out, please check them soon. All right, here is our next area of interesting thing. Now, in case you've been hiding under a rock, Elon Musk has officially purchased the Twitterverse. He has purchased Twitter. His first tweet was "The bird is free," right? So there's a lot of mixed reactions out there about this, about what the future of Twitter is. And the Twitter, as everybody knows, has been used by all kinds of celebrities, politicians, Fortune 500 companies use them as their distribution channel. Whenever something interesting happens with them, they have a new photo, a new thing, a new announcement, they usually put it out there on Twitter for all their followers. So a lot of questions are being raised about how this new takeover with Elon Musk, how that's going to affect their everyday use of the app. So as far as I know, as of today, October 29th, nothing has changed with the function of the app. Say. Okay, there has been some personnel changes.
Yeah, which I understand I've seen different numbers, but he's got to pay those executives between $120 and $200 million, just a handful of executives he fired. So I just want to say, Elon Musk, fire me.
Oh, that might. Hey, maybe we should have just all got jobs at Twitter. Yeah, that would have been a good. Yeah, but that time is now past. But his goal was to enhance the free speech, and he's trying to get a lot of these accounts that were permanently removed, trying to get them reactivated, and he basically wants a different approach to censoring the app. He realizes that it does take some censoring because some of the mistakes that other social media applications have made. Okay, there was Parler. Okay, there's Truth Social. That's the one by Donald Trump.
Yep.
Then there's of course Facebook, and just about any. We're not going to list off all of the social medias that are out there, but they all have some sort of rules as far as what is acceptable and not acceptable. Obviously, a lot of hate speech, anything where you're coordinating crimes and things of that sort. But how do they monitor that? It has to be done with artificial intelligence. And Elon is the artificial intelligence guy. He's got something up his sleeve, Why would he make a move like this unless he was going to do something really interesting? So we're going to be keeping our eyes on what Twitter
We got our eye on you, Elon.
You got our eye. And artificial intelligence is playing many, many roles in our life, whether you know it or not. So with that said, when we get our operator back online here, we're going to take our first way commercial break with a word from our sponsors. Up next, science and tech history from this week. And the FCC examines the next frequencies for the next generation wireless. This is all from the Computer Doctor Show, and we'll be right back.
So where are you off to, Fester?
Gee, Gomez, I'm low on gunpowder and light bulbs.
Okay, but remember, don't use the cigarette lighter to charge your...
Oh dear, the repairs will cost us an arm and a leg.
Well, I'll go out back and dig up a few arms and legs. Ah, here we are, Bones. Bloodsucker Auto Repair. Excuse me, I left my hearse off here for an oil change.
Hey, Drac, here's the bill.
$3,000 for an oil transfusion? Oh my, there's a pain in my chest.
Master, it's the stake they just drove through your heart.
Taking your car or truck to an auto repair shop shouldn't be scary or your worst nightmare. When you take your car to Perfection Auto Works, you will be tranquil with our free 26-point inspection, our quality parts, and our service. 323-8650 and perfectionautoworks.com.
Computer Doctor of Tucson is the best choice in desktop support in Tucson. They fix error messages, power and boot problems, install of software and hardware, and much more. You can come to them, or they can come to you, or even have a remote support session so they can fix your issues over the phone quickly. Give them a call at 261-5508, 261-5508. Visit them on the web at computerdoctortucson.com. Computer Doctor of Tucson, because technology is great when it works.
Welcome back to the Computer Doctor Show, your source for scam awareness, signs, and cutting-edge technology talk. I'm Aaron Moss, your host, along with Rob, co-hosting today from the Unscrewed Theater. Before we get into our next segment, Rob, what can you tell us about the Unscrewed Theater?
Unscrewed Theater is a home for improv in Tucson, a place for improv. We're at 4500 East Speedway. We have shows every Friday and Saturday night at 7:30. We have later shows sometimes. We have uncensored shows, open mics. I'd like to highlight our last show tomorrow of the Weenie Halloween, an interactive show suitable for the whole family at 1 o'clock at Unscrewed Theater. Very interactive. Kids get to participate, be on stage, and be part of the story. So it's a great thing for the whole family. Go to unscrewedtheater.org and find out about all the shows we have at Unscrewed Theater.
Okay, very good. And we're going to take a look at science and tech history on this next program. And Rob, what do you got the list for us?
Yes, I do.
What's the first one there?
October 17th, 2017, just five short years ago, the first robot to be given citizenship in any country, Sophia robot, was given citizenship in Saudi Arabia, built by Hanson Robotics. And Sophia actually has been on TV, given many speeches and interviews, and even on The Tonight Show.
Yeah.
So I for one, welcome our new robot overlords.
And I believe like the first time that she appeared on on the Tonight Show, she had a trail of wires behind her, right? That was actually going to control. Then next time she came out on wheels, about self-balancing wheels, and so it was like, oh, okay, that's neato.
If we can't unplug it anymore, that's even scarier.
I'm sure there's a switch off. But I will say this: if you do anything on the Sophia robot about any of her interviews that she has online, she does come up with some very, very interesting answers to questions that are presented to her. So, but then later on, I learned that you have to submit your questions ahead of time. So I don't know how original her speech is. Let's just say that. Okay, what's next on the list there?
October 29th, 1969. That's 53 years ago. We're celebrating that anniversary with World Internet Day. Celebrating the first message sent from one computer to another, UCLA to Stanford, so just in the state of California, not around the world exactly, but still a reasonable distance. A student by the name of Charles Klein transmits the word login from a computer at Stanford Research Institute over the first link of the ARPANET. Hey, I remember ARPANET from my youth, which was the precursor to the modern internet, of course. It was developed TCP/IP 14 years later.
Yes, so we still use TCP/IP today. ARPANET was the precursor to TCP/IP, and I do want to say this about Internet Day, because if you were to Google the word Internet Day on Google, you may come across another date of May 17th. But here's the thing. Here's what Wikipedia has to say about this, and this is actually factual. It's an event. Internet Day is an event celebrated in Mexico, Peru, Chile, Paraguay, Argentina, Spain, Colombia, Uruguay, Ecuador, Bolivia, and Venezuela, and other parts of the world. They say that it's on May 17th, and is promoted by the Association of Internet Users. It was celebrated for the first time on October 29th, 2005. Shortly afterwards, the World Summit on the Information Society celebrated in Tanzania in November of 2005, and it was later decided by the UN, the designation of May 17th as Worldwide Day of the Information Society. But nothing interesting actually happened technology-wise on May 17th. So I'm going back to the October 29th date, and I'm celebrating World Internet Day today. So happy World Internet Day to you, sir, and for all of our listeners out there. Okay.
Whether you're listening online or over the airwaves.
Airwaves or online. Absolutely. Very good. All right. Here are some quick announcements. Actually, you actually have a lot of information on this. There was a streak, a very interesting streak in the sky. If you were looking up Thursday evening, yes, you were too, right? Okay. So I heard that there was a SpaceX launch from somewhere, and what we saw was just the fumes of that launch.
Yes, that launch was from Vandenberg Air Force Base, which is north of LA in California, and they do West Coast launches there. There they typically launch polar orbit launches. The polar orbit, orbits that go over the North and South Pole roughly, or roughly over the North and South Pole, so it's north to south instead of east to west orbits. So they launch south over the ocean because there's a little peninsula that juts out. So if they launch south, there's no cities beneath them. So if the rocket blows up, it just falls in the ocean rather than over a city. And if you launch about an hour after sunset, just a little after sunset, the skies are getting dark here. But of course, the rocket is up very high. The sunlight is still hitting it, just like sunlight hits the top of a mountain later it does in the valley. Yeah. So therefore, you get the sunlight scattering off the exhaust plume of the rocket, which can make these very spectacular shows. And I saw that launch being announced, and I said, hey. So if you look at my Facebook and Twitter feed, you would see me yesterday afternoon, about noon or so, posting saying, hey, Tucson, go outside tonight, look up about 6:15. There's a rocket launch, and it could be a good show.
That video that you showed me before the show, did you put that on your Twitter?
Yeah, that's on my Twitter, yes. My Twitter is Half Astro, HALFASTRO, the Half Astrophysicist.
I will try that. I will give that a try. All right. And here's another quick announcement. Criminal actors leveraging rideshare vehicles to abduct minors. So this is something, it's unfortunate that it happens, but you see criminals, actors, hackers, they're always looking for opportunities to use already existing technologies or already existing services to thwart their agenda. And here's what, so if there's any families out there or grandparents out there, families, you want to tell them to be very, very careful with how and who they get into cars with. Now, when I was a kid, my mom told me, don't ever get into a car with a stranger. Don't talk to strangers. We even had a password.
Yeah, don't. What is it? Don't talk to strangers. Don't get into car with strangers, and don't talk to strangers on the internet. Now we use the internet to call strangers to bring us cars.
Yeah. Well, it's supposed to be a regulated, monitored service. You know, we're talking about Uber, we're talking about Lyft. These are apps that have been around. They're kind of replacing your traditional cab services, but the way that they're using them is some of them are pretending to be drivers. They actually sign up for Uber and they actually can start accepting rides. Okay, and if there is a child with the rider, or if there's a child that because sometimes children hail these things from their parents, let them have the app, and they're charging their parents' card, but it's actually the child that's doing the hailing and getting into a stranger's car and getting taken to where they are, almost like a taxi service. But here's the problem with that. Okay, how do you really know, how far along you need to be as far as the trust factor goes with a lot of these services? So we really have to double think about that. So they're using it as drivers and as passengers. And there was a case that the FBI had reported where a father and a son had gotten in the back of a Uber Lyft, and the father had to jump out of the car to run into a store, left his son in the car, and the driver took off with the son. The boy was only 7 years old. And the boy was smart enough. He was able to call his mother. He still had a phone with him. And it had a happy ending, but it could have easily went the wrong way there. So parents, please be careful out there. And what can you say?
I got to tell you this. Uber, I used Uber in Chile about 3 years ago, about 3.5 years ago, to call some rides. And I'm still getting ads in the Uber app that are quoting rates in Chilean pesos. So Uber's not figured out I'm back in the U.S. 3.5 years later. So
well, you have to turn on your location features.
It is on. But I've used Uber in the U.S. since then, so they still haven't figured that out.
How about that? On our last story here, FCC examines the 12.7 to 13.25 gigahertz band for the next generation wireless. So just so that you're familiar with 5G band, 5G operates in the regular mid-band 5G operates in the 2.5 to 3.7 gigahertz range, which is the same thing as Bluetooth and microwave ovens, as we figured out. High-band 5G operates in the 25 to 39 gigahertz range. So the spectrum that's under investigation now is the 12.7 gigahertz band currently licensed for broadcast auxiliary service and cable television relay service. And that's point-to-point transmissions when they're doing live broadcasts. It's not for public broadcasting, but when TV stations are doing their... So they're replacing
their video link to the reporter in the field.
Something along those lines. So that's what is happening next in the next band generation wireless. Before we wrap up, we just want to thank our sponsor again, Perfection Auto Works, for sponsoring our show. Stop by their location at Speedway Craycroft for your free 26-point inspection. And as always, don't click unverified links in emails or text messages. Use a password manager. Always look at the address bar. Check activity on your bank statements. Enable two-factor authentication. Verify all incoming and outgoing calls, and back up your system to the cloud. And listen to the Computer Doctor Show live on Saturdays and post it as podcast on Tuesdays. If you missed any part of this episode, go to computerdoctorshow.com, click episodes, and find episode 111. My name is Aaron Moss, your host and technology expert. Rob co-hosting today from the Unscrewed Theater. Tom Fairbanks is at the control board. Stay safe, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll talk to you again next week.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of The Computer Doctor Show. If you missed any part of this live broadcast, we post all our episodes online at computerdoctorshow.com. Remember, the world is getting more and more tech, and so should you. To stay current with technology, listen to The Computer Doctor Show each week for local and global tech insights. If you have suggestions for a topic on a future show, send us an email at info@computerdoctorshow.com.